There is a profound truth about narcissists that almost nobody manages to see. Once you truly understand this hidden reality, you will never look at their behavior the same way again. Behind the immense confidence that seems impossible to break, behind the charm that appears to flow so effortlessly, and behind the intense sense of superiority that often overwhelms everyone around them, there lies a quiet form of suffering that never fully goes away. Most people believe narcissists are entirely happy with themselves. They assume that narcissists genuinely enjoy the pain they inflict on others. They imagine these individuals moving through life feeling completely satisfied, untouched by guilt, untouched by emptiness, and entirely immune to the deep fears that affect ordinary people. But the deeper psychological reality is far more complicated than that. The narcissist is not the untouchable person they try so hard to appear to be. In many ways, they are actually among the most emotionally troubled individuals you will ever meet in your life. Their suffering is hidden so well under the surface that even the people closest to them often fail to recognize it. What you are about to understand will reveal the inner world of the narcissist in a way that very few people ever get to see. If you want to understand the human mind on a much deeper level, if you want to recognize manipulation, understand hidden emotions, and uncover the psychological patterns that shape human behavior, stay with this journey. What comes next only makes sense when you are willing to look beneath the surface. And once you do, it becomes much harder to be fooled by appearances. The first sign of deep narcissistic suffering is almost invisible from the outside, yet it sits directly at the center of everything they do. It is a constant, lingering feeling of emptiness that persists from within. From the outside, narcissists often appear to be full of self-confidence. They seem thoroughly convinced of their own importance. They appear proud, self-assured, and completely satisfied with exactly who they are. But inside, there is often a hollow space where a stable sense of self should exist. This emptiness is not something that simply comes and goes depending on the day. It is not caused by a bad day or a difficult situation. It remains with them almost all the time. They feel it deeply during moments of silence. They feel it the moment attention disappears from them. They feel it when nobody is watching. They feel it when no one is actively praising them or reflecting back the grandiose image they want the world to see. And because this emptiness feels completely unbearable to them, they spend much of their lives trying to fill it from the outside world. They chase attention constantly because without it, they begin to feel entirely invisible. They seek out high status because it temporarily distracts them from what they are feeling deep inside. They demand admiration from others because the moment it disappears, they are forced to face the exact emptiness they work so hard to avoid. This is one of the main reasons narcissists rarely find true peace. Stillness becomes deeply uncomfortable for them. Solitude feels like a harsh punishment. Quiet moments expose the very thing their grand image is designed to hide. You may notice that they constantly create noise around themselves. They fill silence with endless talking. They replace uncertainty with bold, dramatic claims. They fill empty spaces with new goals, new conflicts, new relationships, and new audiences. What looks like constant productivity and activity is often just a desperate form of escape. The thing they are constantly running from is the painful experience of being alone with themselves, without the mask, without the performance, and without the image they depend on to survive. The second sign appears in something many people misunderstand completely. It is their constant dissatisfaction with everything they have in life. To outsiders, this often looks like healthy ambition. It looks like someone who has high standards. It looks like a person who simply refuses to settle for less. But underneath that shiny appearance lies a very different reality. Many narcissists struggle immensely to experience any kind of lasting satisfaction. The moment they achieve something they wanted, the excitement quickly fades away. The relationship that once seemed absolutely perfect suddenly becomes deeply disappointing. The accomplishment that once felt incredibly important loses its meaning almost overnight. The person they once admired begins to seem ordinary and flawed. This does not happen because life keeps letting them down. It happens because their inner world is unable to hold on to feelings of fulfillment for very long. True satisfaction requires a person to feel secure, grounded, and emotionally connected to themselves. The narcissist often lacks these vital foundations. As a result, they live in a constant state of wanting more. They need more attention, more success, more admiration, and more proof that they matter. Yet, no matter how much they receive from others, it rarely feels like enough to satisfy them. This creates a painful form of psychological suffering. From the outside, it looks like motivation and ambition. On the inside, it feels like an endless, agonizing hunger. They achieve major goals and still feel empty. They enter new relationships and still feel empty. They collect accomplishments and still feel empty. Instead of looking inward to understand why this keeps happening, they often blame the outside world. They convince themselves that the next achievement will finally satisfy them. They tell themselves that the next relationship will finally make them happy, or that the next admirer will finally fill the void. But it never does, because the problem was never on the outside. The wound exists deep within, and no amount of external success can heal a wound that remains completely hidden from their own awareness. The third sign goes even deeper into their psychology. It is something narcissists work very hard to conceal from everyone. It is the exhausting, non-stop effort required to maintain a false self. Every narcissist creates an artificial image. This image is stronger, smarter, more attractive, more successful, more important, and far more special than they truly feel inside. This image is not simply a role they play from time to time. It becomes an entire psychological structure, and protecting that structure requires an enormous amount of daily energy. Imagine living every single day as if you are performing on a stage. Imagine never feeling free to step out of character, even for a moment. Imagine carrying the constant fear that if people ever saw the real you, everything you built would completely collapse. This is the heavy burden many narcissists carry throughout their lives. They constantly monitor how others see them. They pay incredibly close attention to the impressions they leave. They think obsessively about how they are being judged by others. They analyze conversations long after they are over. They constantly search for any small signs that their image is being questioned. They cannot allow themselves to be fully known, because being fully known means being fully seen. And being fully seen means confronting parts of themselves they have spent years trying to avoid at all costs. This intense pressure creates deep exhaustion. It often appears on the surface as irritability. Sometimes it appears as sudden, intense anger. Other times it appears as emotional withdrawal, cold behavior, or an intense, suffocating need for control. Many people wonder why someone who appears so powerful and confident can become so incredibly upset over a small, minor criticism. The answer is much deeper than it seems on the surface. They are not simply protecting their ego. They are desperately protecting the very structure that keeps them emotionally together. The narcissist is not arrogant because they genuinely feel superior to everyone else. They are arrogant because feeling ordinary is completely unbearable to them. Their grandiosity is not a sign of healthy self-love. It is a desperate attempt to compensate for a fragile sense of self that never fully developed in the first place. This is also why a narcissistic injury can be so incredibly devastating to them. When someone points out their flaws, questions their image, or refuses to provide them with admiration, it does not feel like a minor problem. It feels like a direct existential threat to their survival. For the narcissist, the false self is not just a mask they wear. It becomes the only identity they know how to live through. Threatening that identity feels like threatening the foundation of their entire world. That is why their reactions can seem so extreme to everyone else. That is why they may become explosive, defensive, or even cruel over situations that appear completely small and insignificant to everyone else. What looks like an overreaction is often just a desperate attempt to protect themselves from total psychological collapse. If these ideas are helping you understand patterns you have seen in someone close to you, then continue paying close attention. The more deeply you understand human behavior, the more clearly you can recognize manipulation, emotional confusion, and unhealthy patterns in your relationships. Knowledge creates genuine clarity, and clarity creates protection for your own well-being. The fourth sign of deep narcissistic suffering exists in a fear they rarely show but constantly carry with them. It is the deep fear of becoming entirely irrelevant. Beneath the confidence, beneath the grand image, and beneath the constant need to appear superior, there is often a powerful, haunting fear of being forgotten. They fear being overlooked by others. They fear being replaced by someone else. They fear becoming ordinary. For most people, the idea of being average may feel slightly uncomfortable, but it is manageable. But for the narcissist, it can feel completely unbearable because their entire identity depends on feeling special, chosen, important, and exceptional. The possibility of being unremarkable can feel like a form of psychological death to them. This is why narcissists struggle so much when they are no longer the absolute center of attention. This is why they often feel deeply threatened when someone else receives praise in their presence. This is why they may try to subtly or overtly undermine people who outshine them. And this is why celebrating the success of others can be surprisingly difficult, if not impossible, for them. To most people, another person's success is simply another person's success, and it can be celebrated. But for the narcissist, it can feel like direct proof that they are losing something deeply important. Every compliment given to someone else can feel like a compliment taken away from them, leaving them to face the very darkness they try so desperately to escape. Every single achievement made by another person can feel like a direct challenge to their own personal value. This is especially true as they grow older. Aging can be deeply uncomfortable for many people under normal circumstances, but it often carries a unique psychological burden for narcissists. Over time, many of the specific things they once relied on for external validation begin to change. Physical beauty naturally fades away. Social influence inevitably shifts. Positions of absolute power become much less secure. The attention that once came to them naturally may begin to move toward younger, newer, and more energetic people. The very things that help them maintain their grand image become harder and harder to hold on to. And as those reliable sources of validation begin to disappear, the emotional pain they have spent years avoiding starts to catch up with them. This is one reason why some narcissists become significantly more controlling as they age. Some become deeply bitter. Some become much more suspicious of other people and their motives. Others become entirely unpredictable emotionally. The exact reason for this shift is not always obvious from the outside, but underneath the surface, they may be struggling with the growing realization that admiration is becoming harder to secure. The world no longer responds to them the way it once did in their youth. The attention they depended on for survival becomes less reliable. And because they never took the time to build a strong internal foundation, they have very little to fall back on when things get tough. They watch younger people rise in status and feel intense envy instead of pride. They watch their personal influence shrink and feel panic instead of quiet acceptance. They see the entire world moving forward without them and experience it as a direct personal threat. Beneath all of this lies the exact same fear that has followed them for years. It is the terrifying fear that if they are not completely extraordinary, they are nothing at all. The fifth sign is perhaps the deepest and most heartbreaking of all. It touches the central wound that exists at the absolute core of the narcissistic personality. It is their total inability to experience genuine emotional intimacy. Many narcissists have relationships in their lives. They may have romantic partners. They may have families. They may have loyal friends, followers, supporters, or admirers. From the outside, it can easily appear that they are surrounded by people who care about them. But being surrounded by people is not the same thing as being emotionally connected to them. True intimacy requires a great deal of vulnerability. It requires trust. It requires a willingness to reveal your deepest fears, insecurities, weaknesses, and emotional needs. For the narcissist, doing this can feel almost impossible. Allowing another human being to see those hidden, fragile parts of themselves feels incredibly dangerous. It feels exposing. It feels too risky. And so they keep those parts locked away forever. They may share interesting stories. They may share bold opinions. They may even share personal experiences from their past. But the deepest parts of who they are remain hidden behind carefully constructed defenses. As a result of this barrier, they often live in a constant state of total emotional isolation. Even when people love them deeply, even when people support them fully, even when they are completely surrounded by attention, the loneliness remains untouched. This is the specific kind of loneliness that external attention cannot cure. It is the kind of emptiness that admiration can never fill. It is the kind of deep hunger that survives every single relationship they enter. Again and again, they search for connection in ways that never truly create it. They seek control over others. They seek total dependence from people. They seek endless admiration. They seek emotional power over those around them. But they rarely seek the one single thing that creates real closeness, which is authentic emotional openness.